Sometimes when we stop to look back at the road we have already traveled, we are taken by a strange feeling, a mix of nostalgia and restlessness, as if life were a book we still cannot read until the end. And this uncertainty about what lies ahead, about who we will become, about what our purpose will be, can feel like a shadow that follows our days. But what if this shadow is, in fact, the most sincere invitation life offers us? An invitation to slow down, to look inward, to realize that time is not an enemy, but an ally. An ally that teaches us that the most important answers are not those we find in haste, in completed task lists, or in achieved goals. The answers that truly transform come from silence, from conscious waiting, from a deep dive into ourselves. Destiny is not a fixed point, a straight line to be blindly followed. 'Tis a weave, a delicate intertwining of experiences, choices, encounters, and partings that gradually shape the path. And the most beautiful thing is that even when we think we have lost our way, taken the wrong direction, or that doors have closed forever, destiny is only waiting for us to be ready to see what awaits us. It is essential to understand that being ready does not mean having everything solved or controlled. Being ready means accepting that we are beings in transformation, that life shapes us with its storms and calms, its moments of pain and joy, of silence and noise. And deep down, what prepares us for what comes next is precisely the courage to continue. Even when we do not know exactly where we are going, life then reveals itself as a journey of discoveries. Discoveries that involve knowing our own shadows, those parts of ourselves we tend to hide, reject, or ignore. And also recognizing our lights, our strengths, our talents. Only when we are able to look inside without fear, with honesty, can we hear the authentic voice that dwells in our chest. That voice whispers truths that the external world is not always willing to listen to. It speaks of a purpose that is not written on the pages of a book, nor determined by titles, positions, or material goods. True purpose is a deep feeling. It is what makes us vibrate, gives meaning to our days, connects us with something greater than ourselves. But finding this purpose requires patience. Patience to deal with our own imperfection, with doubts that arise, with steps that seem wrong or too slow. Patience to not give up in the face of difficulties, to welcome tears, fears, and failures. For it is in this process that life reveals itself in its fullness. And when we finally surrender to this patience, something magical happens. We begin to realize that time, which once seemed our enemy, becomes a faithful friend. It teaches us that every experience, every moment, has its value and place. That nothing is lost, that everything transforms. Looking back then ceases to be an act of judgment or regret, and becomes a recognition of our growth. Every scar, every mistake, every victory is part of our story. A unique and irreplaceable story. As we move forward, we also learn that the control we so desire over life is, in fact, an illusion. True wisdom lies in embracing the unexpected, in accepting that we cannot always predict outcomes, but that we can choose how to respond to them. This acceptance frees us from the weight of anxiety, from the pressure to be or do something perfect. It invites us to live in the present, to value the moment, to realize that what we have now is the foundation for the future that is taking shape. And this future, even if unknown, is no cause for fear. It is a blank canvas ready to be painted with the colors of our authenticity, our desire to grow, to love, to be. More than anything, this journey shows us that we are not alone, that the path is made of encounters, with people, with ideas, with experiences, that challenge us, inspire us, transform us. Every person who crosses our life brings a piece of learning, an opportunity to reflect and expand our view. Thus, destiny reveals itself not as a burden, but as a sacred dance between what we choose and what we receive, between our will and the wisdom of time. And when we finally understand this, we find a deep meaning in every step taken, even those that seemed wrong, even those that led us away from what we imagined to be our path. Because, in the end, life is this: a mystery that only unfolds in the act of living, a process of constant transformation, where purpose is not a fixed point on the horizon, but the very walking. For you who are watching, who may feel lost or anxious, know that it is normal to feel this way, that doubts and uncertainties are an essential part of the process, that there is no wrong time to learn, to make mistakes, to start over. Allow yourself to breathe deeply. Allow yourself to slow down. Look inside with kindness and honesty, and trust the timing of life. Because everything that is meant to be yours, your passions, your dreams, your achievements, will find you at the right moment. And when it does, you will know. Because it will be like a call that resonates inside your chest, a certainty that cannot be ignored. And until then, keep dancing, keep walking, keep living with courage, with love, with the awareness that every moment is precious. Don't rush. Don't be so hard on yourself. Life is a poem in progress, made of delicate verses, necessary pauses, restarts, and endings that turn into new beginnings. And in this poem, you are the author and the protagonist. May your path be full of discoveries, learnings, and light. May you allow yourself to bloom in your own season. And above all, may you live in harmony with the time of your life. That time which is perfect, because it is yours. Life often presents itself as a great mirror that reflects what we carry inside, our fears, our doubts, our certainties, and especially our emotions. And it is precisely in this reflection that we find the starting point for transformation. Think of the water in a calm lake. When it is still, the reflection is perfect, but any movement, any stone thrown in creates waves, distortions, changes. We are like that too, beings in motion, where emotions are those stones and the changes are the waves inviting us to look with new eyes at what once seemed fixed. It is in impermanence, in this constant dance between stability and change, that the beauty of existence lies. Learning to navigate these waves, rather than fighting against them, is what brings us peace. And to navigate, we need something few take the time to cultivate: inner listening. Listening to what truly pulses inside our hearts. Listening without judgment, without the critical voice that so often corrects, diminishes, and paralyzes us. True listening is an act of love. Love for ourselves, for our stories, for our process of growth. When we give ourselves this gift, we begin to notice small lights that once went unnoticed. That passion that has long been asleep, the desire to do something different, the wish to connect more deeply with the people around us. These lights are signs of our purpose, little beacons pointing the way even if the path isn't completely clear yet. But it is precisely on the journey, walking with attention and surrender, that purpose reveals itself. It doesn't always come as a grand revelation. Often it shows up in small gestures, in caring for a loved one, in moments of creation, in the decision to be kinder to ourselves, in the courage to face a challenge. And it is important to remember that purpose doesn't need to be grand to be true. It can be found in simple things, in everyday actions, in the details that give meaning to our existence. This brings us immense freedom, for it allows us to live meaningfully regardless of external circumstances. Another fundamental point on this path is respect for our own timing. We live in an age of speed. Everything happens quickly, everything seems urgent, and this pressure to do it all can pull us away from our natural rhythm. But every person has their own time to bloom, to learn, to transform. Comparing ourselves to others is one of the greatest enemies of this journey. It's like trying to run a race that isn't ours, wearing shoes that don't fit our feet. That is why it's essential to cultivate patience and compassion for ourselves, to forgive mistakes, celebrate small wins, recognize that progress is a path made of slow and steady steps. And when we look at life from this perspective, we begin to understand that what seemed like delay or detour was, in fact, part of the process. Every experience has a purpose, every moment carries a lesson, and in the end, everything contributes to making us the most authentic and fulfilled version of ourselves. Finally, I want to invite you to reflect on the importance of letting go. Letting go is not giving up, nor losing interest, but freeing ourselves from what no longer serves us, from what weighs us down, from what limits us. It's about opening space for the new, for what truly makes sense, for what feeds the soul. When we let go of rigid control, of expectations imposed by ourselves or by society, we open doors to surprise, discovery, and creativity. And it is in this open space that destiny reveals its true magic. Destiny, after all, is like a mysterious garden. We cannot force the flowers to bloom, but we can tend the soil, the water, the light. We can plant seeds with love, patience, and attention, and trust that in the right time, the garden will bloom in full. To finish, I want you to carry with you this certainty. You are not alone on this journey. The path of self-discovery is an intimate adventure, but also a shared experience. We are all travelers in this same sea, seeking meaning, purpose, and peace. And every step taken with courage, every moment lived with presence, is a victory. So breathe deeply, connect with what pulses inside you, and move forward. Your time, your destiny, your purpose await you. And they are unique, just like you.